Hi, Clive.
Hi there.
So you're about to get married,
Yep.
and it's going to be a vegan wedding.
Yeah.
How has that experience felt for you to find someone vegan to marry?
Well, basically what happened was that about 4 years ago, I'd been vegetarian for a very long time, and unfortunately, I didn't really sort of look into, in all those years, I didn't really look into what the dairy industry was like, and the egg industry. Because if I had really looked into it beforehand, I would have probably been vegan a lot sooner. But 4 years ago, a lot had to do with the internet and things like Facebook, etc. Where you would actually begin to get information cropping up that you didn't really need to sort of go and search for, about the dairy industry and the egg industry. And so I turned vegan 4 years ago. And the same, actually, my partner, she was the same, except I was in Glasgow and she was down in Newcastle. And I kind of got to the stage where I'd been in sort of a number of relationships, and I realised, one of the things sort of missing from them was having somebody who sort of shared my outlook in life, my beliefs, and my moral compass, and so I kind of sort of went out to look for somebody who shared that. So I sort of joined a lot of sort of groups, vegan meetup groups, that type of thing. And it so happened to be that I was on the Vegetarian Shoes Facebook page, and there was a post there from this woman who was from, she was living in Newcastle. She's actually from Poland, and I can't even remember what the message was that she'd left there, but I think she'd left a picture of her shoes, or just and also her little sort of profile picture. It wasn't even a picture of her face or anything, it was just her hand with a big red heart on it, and a ring with a red heart. And for some reason I was just attracted to this hand and this message, and so I messaged her, and she accepted me as a Facebook friend, and we just started chatting from there. And it was much easier for me because we were talking English, but she was Polish, although she was living in Newcastle. She'd been living here for a couple of years, but because where she worked there was a lot of Polish people there, she didn't really speak that much English. She didn't need to, so unbeknown to me, she's sort of sitting there with her Google Translate and a dictionary, trying to answer my questions and ask me questions. So that went on for a few months, and then she said she was going for a weekend sightseeing in Edinburgh, and I just assumed it was just something she wanted to do, but unknown to me, she was wanting me to offer to come and meet her, which eventually it sort of sunk in there that was the idea. So eventually I said, why don't I meet you while you're there? So I went through to Edinburgh, and just saw her and immediately fell for her. I mean, we only met for a couple of hours that time, but then we had weekends. Another weekend in Edinburgh, went down to Newcastle, we met in Manchester, and then after about a year I asked her to move in with me, and she came up here from Newcastle, and we've just sort of taken it from there. So we've been together for 3 and 4 years now.
Aww.
And now we're about to get married. So that's a long story. So yeah, I mean it's great that I've found somebody at last, that shares my beliefs in not just being vegan, a lot to do with sort of our outlook in life. We're both atheists. We're both quite sort of to the left politically. On a lot of issues we agree on, but obviously sort of being vegan, compassionate, and having a love of animals. We've got 2 rabbits and a cat. These are things that are very important to us and things that we share. I mean, it's only going to be a sort of like a small wedding, because unfortunately my parents both died in the last couple of years. But her mum's coming over from Poland for the wedding, and so it's only going to be sort of 5 of us there, but we've obviously stipulated that the meal afterward is going to be vegan, and try to make sure that the wine's vegan, the champagne's vegan, etc. So.
Has that been difficult to do, to get?
Not really. Fortunately, it's in a hotel locally, and there's a friend who is vegan who recommended the place because it is quite good at catering for vegans. And my partner, she's got her own small business. She makes vegan-friendly fashion accessories, clothing, and jewellery. Her dress and her jewellery is all going to be sort of vegan, largely made by herself. So she made her dress. She's a fashion. Well, she was a fashion student until she graduated this year. So she actually made her own dress and made her own jewellery for the ceremony. And meanwhile, I had to source a vegan-friendly kilt.
Oh yeah.
Because usually kilts are wool. So fortunately, there's a kilt maker who was able to find polyviscose is the material. So it's a polyviscose kilt in my tartan, Lindsay tartan, and I was able to get a vegan sporran, and I've got vegan kilt shoes, which I've actually had to send to the United States for.
Wow.
So it's all coming together.
So do you have any advice for people that are looking for other vegan partners?
Keep on looking. I mean, there are. Really, the best way to me is you've got to go to places and join groups where like-minded people are. I think if it's important for you to find somebody who shares your beliefs and is compatible in that sort of way, I don't think you can leave it to chance. because I kind of left it to chance for too long, and ended up with people who quite often love the woman, but there was just something missing.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people do meet people who they have different views on certain things and can coexist with somebody who isn't a vegan, but I think it makes life so much simpler when you don't have to sort of have separate meals or compromises, when you go out for dinner or whatever. And I think that joining groups like vegan meetup groups, potlucks, organisations that are campaign on behalf of animals, and even sort of political groups, like the Green Party or whatever, that share those sort of ideals, then these are the type of places you're more likely to find somebody that you have a connection with, not only romantically or sexually, but also morally as well.
So do you have any tips for people that are thinking of going vegan?
I think just do it.
Yeah.
Because to me, there's a lot of hype about it being difficult. I mean, I love Morrissey, but he came out last week, and the first time he's really in an interview came out and said that he's actually not just vegetarian anymore, he's actually vegan. And in the interview he said he realises it's hard and expensive, but to me that's not my experience. To me it might have been difficult 20 years ago, 30 years ago, but to me there's no excuses now, because whereas it used to be that it was difficult enough trying to find something vegetarian in a supermarket, nowadays the vegan options are increasing, and I mean, I'm typical of the type of person who was brought up on meals that were basically chips, beans and meat, and that was basically what was brought up on, and I didn't really know when I left home what else I could eat, if it wasn't even meat. But these days there's so many options in supermarkets. There's so many vegetarian, vegan instant meals these days.
Really?
And
wow.
But of course it's much cheaper to actually do it yourself. And again, because there's so many online cookery advice columns, I mean, I'm not big in that sort of thing, but if you want to find out about what to make, there's no excuse these days. You just go on the internet and you can find it and find how to do it cheaply. So I think, and again, I was a person who was very picky about their food. I must admit, when I turned vegetarian, I didn't really like vegetables that much, but I actually found how to cook them to kind of sort of disguise them, so that I didn't realise they were just sort of vegetables. But as I say, I would say just don't believe the hype about it being difficult. It's actually very easy to do, and it's very cheap.
Yeah, nice one. Thank you, Clive.
Okay, thank you.